evening and welcome to the NewsHour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Chief Justice of India, CJI Chandrachud's reflection on the Ayodhya verdict has sparked a massive political war. Addressing the residents of his native village in Maharashtra's Khed, where he was felicitated, the Chief Justice of India spoke about occasions during his time in the judiciary when the path forward would appear unclear. He harkened back to the time when he was part of the 5-judge Supreme Court bench that heard the historic Ayodhya case. He recounted how finding a solution and a path forward appeared difficult in the legal dispute that remained unresolved for over a century. He then mentioned how when he would pray and ask God himself to provide a solution.
मी भारताचा सरन्यायाधीश झालो. कित्येक वेळा काम करताना असं होतं बघा कोर्टात की याचा पर्याय काय आहे, याचा सोल्युशन काय आहे हे सुचत नाही आपल्याला. जेव्हा मी अयोध्येचं काम माझ्यापुढे आलं होतं, म्हणजे शेकडो वर्ष ज्याला कोणी सोल्युशन मानलं नाही ते काम आमच्या पुढे आलं होतं. आणि त्यावेळेला एक असं झालं ते काम चालूच असताना की ह्याच्यात मार्ग कसा शोधायचा आम्हाला कोणालाही माहिती नव्हतं. ह्याच्यात मार्ग कसा शोधता येईल. त्यावेळेला मी आपल्या दररोजच्या दैनंदिन जीवनात माझी पूजा करतो तेव्हा मी देवांच्या पुढे भगवंतांच्या पुढे मी बसतो तिथे आणि मी त्यांना सांगितलं ह्याच्यात मार्ग तुम्हीच शोधून द्या.
The Chief Justice of India's revelation that he saw divine intervention in a bid to find a solution in the historic Ayodhya case has miffed the opposition. Several opposition leaders sought to question the Chief Justice of India's remarks, interpreting his statement as faith being the guiding light for him in delivering the Ayodhya verdict and not the Constitution of India. Let's listen to what he said.
CJI is a deceptive and hypocrite. What about the law? Law goes on the basis of facts, evidences. But he's giving a preference to faith.
जब असली शिवसेना और नकली शिवसेना, असली राष्ट्रवादी और नकली राष्ट्रवादी, और जब एक चलती हुई सरकार को गिराया गया, जब ये सारे निर्णय लेने का समय आया, तब क्या आप भगवान का सहारा नहीं ले सकते थे? आपने नहीं लिया. आप एक बार भगवान से पूछते ना, तो भगवान आपको प्रेरणा देते.
लेकिन ये देश संविधान से चलता है. ये देश न्याय के मंदिर में अपने नियम कानून से चलता है.
अब देश आस्था की बुनियाद पर चलेगा या संविधान से चलेगा? अब आस्था की बुनियाद ही अगर है तो फिर हमारी आस्था का क्या? हाँ, तो संविधान से चलेगा ना देश. तो और आप तो जजमेंट भी दे चुके हैं अयोध्या के ऊपर, तो हम क्या समझे अब इस बात को?
And while opposition leaders have sought to link faith with integrity, another India Bloc partner, or leader rather, Samajwadi Party MP Ram Gopal Yadav went a step ahead and was heard using an abusive word for the Chief Justice. He, however, backtracked when Times Now confronted him. SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav also distanced himself from the party from his uncle's original remark and asserted that Samajwadi Party respects the Chief Justice of India.
The comment you have made against CJI, BJP is calling it as a derogatory remark which you have made against CJI just now.
When I make a comment against CBI? No question. Nobody has asked me question about CBI. Nobody.
Not CBI but CJI, sir, Chief Justice of India.
नहीं, उनके बारे में कैसे हम कह सकते हैं?
मेरी नॉलेज में नहीं है, लेकिन कोई भी CJI महत्वपूर्ण पद पे बैठे हुए समाजवादी पार्टी कभी भी किसी के बारे में नहीं कह सकते. और मेरी जानकारी में नहीं क्या कहा है, लेकिन हम सब उनका सम्मान करते हैं CJI का.
BJP leaders have slammed the opposition, accusing them of attacking the judiciary and saying that opposition objecting to CJI's puja once again shows their anti-Sanatan mindset.
देखिए, मैं तो जुडिशरी और जुडिशरी से रिलेटेड मैटर्स पे कमेंट नहीं करना चाहूँगा, और CJI तो बहुत बड़ी संस्था होती है, उससे हम अपने आप को कमेंट से हम बचेंगे. मगर एक बात तो तय है, चाहे गणपति जी की पूजा हो, चाहे ईश्वर की आराधना हो, जो अपोजिशन वाले हैं और खास करके जो इंडिया अलायंस के लोग हैं, जो कांग्रेस के साथी हैं, उन्हें कभी ईश्वर की पूजा भाती नहीं है.
संविधान का अपमान यही कांग्रेस की पहचान. संवैधानिक पदों पर बैठे हुए लोगों का अपमान कांग्रेस की पहचान. जब जजमेंट उनके फेवर में, तब उनको इंस्टीट्यूशन ठीक लगती है. जब जजमेंट उनके फेवर में नहीं आता तो इंस्टीट्यूशन को गाली देना. इसी प्रकार से ईवीएम पर भी सवाल उठाना, इलेक्शन कमीशन पर भी सवाल उठाना. पीएम को तो 100 से अधिक गालियां दी है.
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across, in fact, to our guests who are joining us at the moment. We have Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of BJP, Shashank Shekhar Jha, lawyer of Supreme Court. We have Sanjay Jha, who's a senior advocate. Also with us is Kamruzaman Chaudhary, political analyst. But my first question is to Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ghanshyam Tiwari, of course, Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav has since clarified that he did not know that the question being asked was for the Chief Justice. But nevertheless, is there a pattern here? Is there a pattern in trying to attack the Chief Justice? We saw similar controversy when the Prime Minister was at the CJI's residence when he went to perform puja. And now once again, attacks coming in from the Samajwadi Party and other opposition parties also, because the questions appear to be about the integrity of the Chief Justice of India.
Good evening, Madhav, to you, the viewers and the fellow co-panelists. There are three important things. One is that Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav ji has made a statement. Ram Gopal Yadav ji has made a statement. We respect the institution of judiciary, institution of Chief Justice of India, and Chief Justice as a person. So any comment that was misheard, was taken out of context, has been duly clarified and immediately so. That's point number one. Point number two, we believe that in India is a nation of faith. Any one of us, anywhere in the country or outside the country, when we take important decisions, we weigh them within our own moral framework and faith. And I think if the Chief Justice is saying that on an important decision, he had weighted that decision with his own inner compass, I think there is nothing wrong in that. As far as the legacy of Chief Justice is concerned, or the institution of judiciary is concerned, last 10 years have been a testimony in BJP's model of hijacking and tormenting democracy, which was finally defeated in 2024 in the Lok Sabha election. So BJP cannot preach anybody. A party that in its utmost power ensured that the parliament sits for less number of days than number of Sundays in that many years. Last 10 years, parliament sat for less number of days.
Let's come to the judiciary, please. Otherwise, Ghanshyam, those are very important issues. Parliament is, of course, a very important national issue. But let's please stick to judiciary. My request to you. But since you've asked questions of the BJP spokesperson, I'm going to let Tuhin respond to the points that you were just making. Tuhin Sinha, the overall question is about the judiciary and the last 10 years, particularly the legacy. He says, particularly not about the current Chief Justice, but overall when it comes to judiciary, it doesn't look very good. Is this Samajwadi Party spokesperson's view? Your response.
Good evening. Good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. You know, Madhav, just 2 days ago, Supreme Court passed a judgment wherein it refused to extend the child marriage ban to all faiths. This was against the plea submitted by the government. So obviously we were not happy. But do we cast aspersions on the judiciary like my friend from the Samajwadi Party is doing over here? I think the opposition needs to grow up. It's about the integrity of this opposition. If you can take the oath of office in the name of God, there is no reason why you cannot invoke God, why you cannot pray to God for the best possible judgment in a case which had extended for a good 491 years. The Ram Janmabhoomi dispute had existed from 1528, and if it was finally concluded in 2019, and if it required some amount of divine intervention, there is no reason why the Chief Justice should not have prayed to God. Now, what exactly, do the secular parties of India expect, so-called secular parties of India expect, especially the Samajwadi Party, RJD and Congress, that he would say, the Chief Justice of India would say that I went to an iftar party, I got charged up, and the next day I delivered a justice? Is that what you expect? The kind of words which Ram Gopal Yadav has used today is despicable, to say the least, and I think on your show, Samajwadi Party should apologize to that. But the larger point remains, their simple grouse is the construction of this grand Ram temple. A party which has presided over the brutal killing of car sevaks can never come to terms with this grand Ram temple.
Respond to that, Ghanshyam.
Well, past 10 years, we have seen BJP and its ecosystem distribute certificate of Hinduism, nationalism and Ram Bhakti to people. People of Ayodhya, people of Uttar Pradesh, right from Banaras to Ayodhya, have taken away that fake right that BJP had. So they cannot tell us who's Ram Bhakt, who's not. They are not proprietors of Hinduism. We stand by our faith, and everything BJP says is just to divide the nation into the vicious and hateful machine of Hindu-Muslim discussion. As far as Chief Justice is concerned, again, I said, last 10 years of legacy of Modi is concerned, you can see how they have systematically tried to demolish judiciary to the extent that Supreme Court judges had to do a press conference. So they are in no position to preach.
Okay, but then this very same Chief Justice Ghanshyam, many would argue, has given many a judgment against this government, whether it's electoral bonds or several other cases. He referred to one particular case where it was against the centre. So where is the question of destroying of the judiciary here?
We are not questioning the Chief Justice. We are not questioning his legacy. We are saying that BJP is not in a position to preach in the judicial setup of India, a party that has systematically tried to discourage, demoralize, and in some way threaten judiciary to the extent that judges had to come out and do press conference.
Okay, the judges' press conference, the 4 judges' press conference, as we all know, was the lowest point in judiciary, and to an extent, he has a point, because many saw this as perhaps the darkest day for the judiciary, and all of that has happened during the NDA regime, where there were questions, perhaps even of political influence, of cases being randomly assigned to different judges. There were some serious questions that emerged from that episode as well. Please respond to what Ghanshyam is saying.
That's a thing of the past. I think I will restrict my discussion today. Does the Samajwadi Party have a problem with the Chief Justice of India celebrating Ganpati festival at his home? We saw the entire ecosystem lashing out at the Chief Justice of India for celebrating Ganpati at his home and for the Prime Minister to visit him. I think, let the opposition come clean on that. Let it say that it doesn't have a problem. Let it say that a practicing Hindu can be the Chief Justice of India. In our country, there is no precondition that a Chief Justice of India has to say that he is an atheist or he's an agnostic. If he's a practicing Hindu, and if he does practicing Hindu debar him, does the opposition think that it makes him incapable of passing honest judgments? That is the moot question over here, which needs to be answered by the opposition.
Let me take that question across to Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, just because he's a Chief Justice, if he talks about praying before an important judgment, does that necessarily require this kind of a controversy? That's the question coming in from the BJP.
Well, everything is contextual. If the Chief Justice of India were to say, look, there was this very troubling issue with regard to the NEET exams, where the lives of lakhs of students and their families were involved. There was a leakage. I did not know whether to cancel it or not cancel it. And after all the evidence, before coming to a decision, I prayed that I be given the strength to make the right decision. There would have been no problem. But today, this is all contextual. Just before retirement, when the Chief Justice says that in respect of the most troubling matter of faith, where 2 of the major faiths of this country were involved, that I did pray and that the judgment was a result of that prayer, then it takes away from the validity of his own judgment.
Sanjay, that's the point. Has he really said that? He said that I prayed for a path forward and that prayer can produce certain kinds of results. He's not directly linked the decision with having prayed.
Well, the second part of it that I wanted to say was that this was not the time for the Chief Justice to have said anything of this sort. After retirement, in his book, what he writes, that's his prerogative. As sitting Chief Justice, to say that, look, in the most important religious matter which came up before my court at that particular point of time, while deciding, then I went into prayer and then a solution emerged. That does not send the right message, because primarily, while we are a deeply religious country, we are also a pluralistic country. And when 2 religions are at odds in a judicial matter before you, then you should avoid any impression that you being part of one religion or the other colors your judgment. They just take it in another way. The principle is that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done.
Okay.
Now, just 1 minute. The example is that if a judge were to hear a matter relating to a company in which he has shares, the law is that that particular judgment is then set aside. You should not do anything as a sitting judge which in any way tends to imperil the judgment.
Okay.
Just one last sentence. Last sentence. I am not against people seeking inspiration divinely anywhere in any manner, even if they tossed a coin to reach at a conclusion. That's a method of their decision making.
But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That if he has a certain faith, if he wants to pray before an important judgment, are his religious rights now being curbed in some way? But Tuhin Sinha, respond to what is being stated here. I want to go close to Shashank Shekhar Jha as well. Sanjay Hegde says justice should not only be done, it should be seen to be done in this particular case. Tuhin.
No. Even if I were to go by Mr. Hegde's logic, the conflict of interest over here would come if Chief Justice of India had said that he prayed at the Ram Lalla at the disputed site. You know, what Mr. Hegde has said over here only confirms my suspicion that they think that any practicing ritualistic and proud Hindu cannot be an impartial CJI. He has proved it. There is no conflict of interest. You know, if you have been praying all your life, will you stop praying before a judgment? And please note that he was speaking in front of his native villagers. He was speaking at his native village. I'm assuming the villagers were religious by nature, and therefore it was a motivational talk. It was a speech which would inspire many villagers to be righteous, to be honest.
Respond to that, Sanjay, because now this whole matter is acquiring a different political tone, and at the end of the day, if somebody is a practicing Hindu, is that now going to be held up against them?
Of course not. You can practice any religion. You can be a Pastafarian for all I care. You can get your inspiration from wherever. But on a public platform, when you are still Chief Justice of India, you have no religion. When you are Army Chief, you have no religion in your public utterances. It was Justice Oak of the Supreme Court who said that we should stop this practice of bowing before lamps and goddesses, that we should take oaths only with regard to the Constitution. We are a nation ruled by a constitution. These are constitutional functionaries. Constitutional functionaries adjudicating a religious dispute cannot be seen as leaning towards one of the contesting religions.
But is he really leaning towards one particular religion, or is he just practicing his faith? That's a fundamental question here. Shashank Shekhar Jha, constitutional functionaries cannot be seen as leaning towards a particular faith. In this case, the matter involves two faiths, and that's why the context is crucial, says Sanjay Hegde, I beg your pardon. Please respond to Sanjay Hegde. Apologies, Sanjay.
Namaste, Madhavji and my fellow panelists. Madhavji, I guess Sanjay ji, being a very respected senior at Supreme Court, had forgot the motto of Supreme Court of India, which says Yato Dharma Tato Jaya, which comes directly from Mahabharata. It says that Yato Dharma Tato Krishna Tato Jaya. So when someone forgets the basic principle or basic motto of Supreme Court, I do not have much to say there. Second point raised by Mr. Hegde was that you cannot have your religion in public forum. Why not? A country can be a secular country, but a person should not be a secular one. When in past we have seen Prime Minister of India, President of India and Chief Justices of India enjoying very nicely in iftar parties and Roza and Ramzan, why they have a problem with Ram Janmabhoomi or for that point any Ganesh Chaturthi? And third aspect, in this particular Ram Janmabhoomi movement, the final judgment came out of five judges constitutional bench. One of those 5 judges was a Muslim, and he also sided along with the Hindu side. And the disputed side did not only go to Hindu side, but 5 acres separate land was given to the Muslim side. So if someone says that if I have to settle the largest issue, disputed issue in this country, and I had to take inspiration or take motivation from my God, what's wrong in that? They want all those people to have Muslim identity with their sleeves, the Christian identity in their sleeves, but for Hindu identity, they want you to communalize the entire issue. Was Chief Justice of India CJI Chandrachud the lone voice in this case? No, the verdict was 5-0. And the difficulty part here, Madhavji, is that Sanjay ji knows about this. But Sanjay ji intentionally mentioning this point because he wished to support those India alliance. What Hindi alliance today stated is the purview that they did not even go to that Ram Janmabhoomi till date. So if they respect Ram Janmabhoomi or they respect Supreme Court so much, why did they not respect that judgment and why did they not go to Ayodhya till date? What they did after elections of Uttar Pradesh, they said, and I will just last line. Okay. After Lok Sabha elections, they said, and I quote, "I am the Raja of Ayodhya and we have defeated." For Hindus, the Raja of Ayodhya will always be Sri Ram. And what India Alliance did at that point of time, both Samajwadi and Congress, was that they declared a person who is very competitive below the aura of Sri Ram as the Raja of Ayodhya. So I guess that shows what they are willing to prove here.
All right, let me bring in Kamar Zaman Chaudhary also. Kamar Zaman Chaudhary, you know, we have different comments. You would have seen Udit Raj calling the Chief Justice as being deceptive, so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into that. But the context of what Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav has said today, in the past he's called it a Bekar Mandir. There is a question about whether, they're coming from the BJP, about whether there is this continuous disregard for the Hindu faith coming in from various opposition political parties. How do you respond to that?
Absolutely not, Madhav. Every religion is paramount and every faith is important to the Constitution of India, and equality before the law must be respected by whoever it is, whether it is the Muslims, whether it is the opposition or whether it is the ruling. But I don't see anything wrong in criticizing the Chief Justice of India in today's context, because the Chief Justice CJI Chandrachud's comment on seeking divine intervention during the Ayodhya ruling highlight the delicate balance between personal faith and constitutional duties in India's democracy. During the Ayodhya judgment also, we criticized the judgment and said that this is ultra virus of the Constitution, because in the page 215 of the ruling, which says, "It is true that in matters of faith and belief, the absence of evidence may not be an evidence of absence." This is a very important line in this judgment, which says that though we cannot confidently establish with the basis of evidence, but on the matters of faith, we are ruling in favor of the Hindu side. But leave aside all this judgment and everything what the CJI said today or not. The basic point, Madhav, is why flog a dead horse? The Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute has been forgotten. People from both the sides have accepted the honorable judgment of the Supreme Court, and we are moving along. Now bringing back into the public discourse serves only one purpose, that Ram Mandir will bring votes for one political party, and that is the Bharatiya Janata Party. I condemn that.
Are you saying the Chief Justice is doing it to benefit the BJP?
Status quo of
what are you saying, Mr. Chaudhary?
Babri Masjid side.
Mr. Chaudhary, what are you saying?
I am not saying that.
You are saying why flog a dead horse? It will benefit the
Mother,
BJP.
Not,
that's exactly what you said.
Please do not quote me out of context. Please do not quote me out of context. What CJI said today has already been stated in the judgment 5 years ago. There is nothing new that he is saying today. But getting into controversy because of his statement, who has brought in the controversy out here? The political parties have brought it out here. Being a Muslim, I have accepted
which
the
party
faith
does Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav belong to?
Kamar Zaman
Chaudhary, just tell me which party does Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav belong to, which started this entire controversy today?
I am not.
So I'm not understanding. What is where are you linking this?
Madhav, you know how today.
When you're saying politicization, please justify your comment, Mr. Chaudhary. That's all I'm asking you to do.
The Babri Masjid and the. Yeah, today Ajit Pawar was with the India Alliance and tomorrow he's with the BJP Alliance. So I don't give a damn about these politicians. They bring out a dead horse, try to whip up patience in the country, and we must all realize, Ram Gopal G is also senior leader. He must realize, if he has said this erringly, he must apologize. It's not linking the Chief Justice of India to the Ram Mandir issue, absolutely. Okay. We all know the judgment was done in I
want Shashank to respond to you. Shashank Shekhar Jha, respond to this. This is all being done with a bid to polarize. Election season is underway. This is nothing but an attempt to politicize and polarize. Please respond to what Mr. Chaudhary is saying.
Madhavji, the difficulty here with the India Alliance and all those parties which are opposing BJP is that irrespective of whoever is making any statement with regards to their faith, if they are Hindu in dharma, they have a problem. So be it Ram Mandir inauguration and calling it a Naach Gana place, etc. And today what Kamru Chaudhary is doing, I respectfully oppose his submission. What he is saying is he is directly criticizing the Chief Justice of India and saying that he is supporting a political party. I guess what kind of statement is he making in public forum? Can Chief Justice of India as an individual do not have a voice? Can Chief Justice of India as a post holder cannot have a voice? And we are talking about Sri Ram. He is the founding father of this country. In our Indian constitution, the first book of Indian constitution, we had his pictures there. And it was the first Congress government which brought it. So not only Sri Krishna from Sri Ram from Ramayana,
a controversy certainly, of course, the midst of Maharashtra and Jharkhand elections. Certainly, of course, we haven't heard the last word yet on it, but we'll have to leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank our panelists for joining us, Shashank Shekhar Jha, Sanjay Hegde and Ghanshyam Tiwari. Tuhin Siran, in fact, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary will stay with us for debate number 2.